Out here in this northern forest, spring is kind of late coming, but this is our chance now to look at the Gospel of Mark throughout this quarter. What a delight to be doing a biblical book once again, something I always feel is the most important thing we can be doing as we do our Bible study here. Well, Mark begins with a very clear statement that his purpose is to talk about Jesus, the Son of God, right there in verse 1. That is his declaration about what he wants to try and do, what he wants to achieve is to demonstrate to people through what he writes about Jesus, his life and work, death and resurrection, that he is indeed not just the Messiah that was expected, but truly the Son of God. And as we look at what he says throughout the Gospel, we'll understand a lot more about his perspective. Interesting, isn't it, that he begins his study not with the birth of Jesus, as Matthew and Luke do, but with the calling of John the Baptist, the desire to repent. That's what he's talking about, and how he is the forerunner, the one who is the voice crying in the wilderness, preparing the way for Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, the one who was prophesied to come. And as we look at this material, you look at the notes for this time, in the quotes, I've put in 3 quotes from C.S. Lewis, which I think are very significant. He's basically saying that you can't simply take Jesus to be a good person, a good teacher, and though of course he was, he can't simply be seen as a good philosopher or a teacher of ethics, anything like that. Either what he said is true and he is the Son of God, or he's a raving lunatic, just like somebody who says he's a poached egg, as Lewis says. I think we need to really consider that and think about what this declaration is all about. Mark is providing the proof for all of that. That's what he's talking about. He's saying Jesus really was God in human form, and here's the evidence to prove it. And in his very dynamic way, he loves using that Greek word euthos. Immediately we did this, immediately we did that, and so on. Of course, what he's doing is reporting. It seems that he only knew Jesus towards the end of Jesus's life. There's the tradition, as it were, that Mark was the young man who left his clothes behind during Jesus' arrest when he ran away after they grabbed his cloak. And that what we really have in the Gospel of Mark is the Gospel of Peter. This is what we see here, that Peter is recollecting and repeating to Mark, we believe, the John Mark of Paul's account, and this is what we see them discussing and sharing, and Peter's reports are there. Interesting that Peter is the one to report all of this because he's the enthusiastic one, you might want to say. He's the one who always has something to say, always something to talk about. He is the one who is the impetuous one, but he's also the one who says, yes, Jesus, you are the Messiah, the Son of God. So as we look at this particular quarter, I urge you to look again at what they're really talking about, Peter and Mark, I want to say, as they describe the Son of God, as they look at what Jesus really was. And may it be a blessing to you.